Back here at Hangtown, we're ready to drop the gate on the first 450 moto of the year. Temporarily no rain coming down here at Hangtown. It's changed quite a bit. Here's your upcoming schedule for this championship run. We'll have second motos today on NBCSN, and then we're off to the races. We'll be at Glen Helen down in Southern California next weekend. We'll have the first motos live on MAV TV. We'll follow it right up with live motos on NBCSN. And then we'll have highlights of that Glen Helen race midweek. We'll also have a midweek highlight show on May 25th from right here at Hangtown. So we'll have the California swing, Northern and Southern California, Hangtown and Glen Helen. And then we're off to Colorado, just outside of Denver, for round 3 in 2 weeks. So that's your upcoming schedule for Lucas Oil Pro Motocross. Here's your Kawasaki track map. We'll give you a review of Hangtown once again from a little bit different angle. Yeah. Take us through it, Grant.
Nice little point of view. Sweep through that first left-hander. Hopefully the first one. Get the whole shot. Make this right over the step down to the low part of the track. We saw here some different lines. Some of the guys hugging it tight or going the long way around over the Big Mo hip jump. Then through here, they've straight lined this section, opened it up a little bit. Make a right-hander here before you got the hill to the Red Bull step up. One of the signature jumps in this track that seems to have been here forever. Make a left, down the hill, through the gearbox. Then right here, a lot of different options. We've seen the braking bump starting to develop. Back up the hill, step up out of the corner, carry your speed all the way up through these rollers, make a left, and once again, back down the hill. A lot of elevation change that you don't really notice. Another hip jump through these switchbacks. And in this section here, you're going to see the 450 riders. A lot of the top guys will sweep that outside and huck the Fly Racing 150, 150 feet, not to mention how high they go as well. Make that left past the TV compound, back into this sight here. Long sweeping right-hander, sharp little left, and then this actually goes very steep uphill. Another left, and then drop down the Lucas Oil drop-off over the tabletop. This section is a half pipe, kind of interesting looking. Make a left over the old finish line. You'll pass the Fram Mechanics area and make a right in Cooper Webb corner, and then over the finish line jump.
That's the corner where Cooper Webb went down. Hey, we've got a GoPro live on Cole Seeley's mechanic, Rich Simmons, who's working the gate right now while Cole's out in his parade lap. Going to try to stomp that rut and give him the perfect launch point. That's awesome. We've got the GoPro on the mechanic. That'll be fun to watch. We want to talk fun to watch. Here's an all-new feature for our show this year. Big thanks to the folks at LitPro. We're going to compare Jason Anderson's laps from 2 practice sessions today and show you where you can make up time at a motocross track. Follow the dots.
Well, if you see, this is from practice 1 and 2. Practice 1 is the bubble in the lead. Look right there. Look at the speed differential, 53 to 55 miles an hour. So it just shows you between practices, the same rider, how much time they lose just between the deterioration of the track. Look at that, 53 as opposed to 50 miles an hour. So over 3 mile an hour difference may not sound huge. Jason, you saw right there, that's between 5 and 10%. That is a big change.
Yeah, and the lap time was actually significantly different because he was carrying that much less speed as the track got rougher throughout practice. We have our GoPro track preview on board with James Stewart, who's making his return to motocross after missing last year due to a suspension. So he is back, and I believe was a 7th fastest in the final practice today. And here's what it looked like.
Yeah, you can see the track looks quite a bit different. It was nice, loamy, and the ruts were barely even there. But let's see, I don't think he's going to jump the 150 from the inside. But it is quite a sight to see for these guys going all the way over.
So James, on that Yoshimura Suzuki, just another big name you can put in the pile of riders in contention today at Hangtown. This is definitely going to be one you don't want to miss. Time's almost up. We're going to go racing in the 450 class in just over a minute. Hey, for the 13th consecutive year, the NHRA hosts the world's wildest door slammer category, the Pro Modified class. It's got an eclectic mix of vehicles ranging from 69 Camaros to late model Corvettes, and with a choice between nitrous, turbo, or superchargers, no class offers as much diversity and excitement as this NHRA Pro Mod Series. Watch at 5 Eastern and Pacific only on MAV TV. FMF Privateer Power Award, will be giving that out all year long. We're going to give the underdogs some recognition, so we'll pick one from this race and talk about it next weekend at Glen Helen. Now time for the KTM keys to the moto.
Well, being the 450 class, we got a lot of strong guys here, so you got to start strong, meaning have a good solid weekend, which leads to solid points. You don't have to win round 1, but get solid points, because we know with this class a lot of the times it sets the tone for the rest of the season. Can Dungey strike first? Will it be Roxon, or will it be Tomac, or will it be someone else?
There's a pretty deep group of riders that are certainly capable of doing it as the Fly Racing 30-second card goes up. Yes, Dungey, your defending champ, but the number 3 Eli Tomac, the defending winner of this event. Roxon won the title 2 years ago. It's on here at Hangtown. Honda boys up front right now. Trey Canard, think, was able to grab the whole shot. Then his teammate Cole Seeley right around him as Canard threw it away. So it's Seeley and Canard and Bogle up to 3rd. So it's 1, 2, 3 for the Hondas. Dungey in 4th.
Dungey in 4th, but watch Roxon just threading the needle there. Went from about 8th to possibly going to come out 5th. So Roxon really struck real quick there, and he's already up the inside of Dungey. Wow. So Roxon has come out with a point to prove. Remember last year, Jason? And once again, just goes past Canard like he's standing still. So what an opening couple corners. I wouldn't even say lap, because by the time we get to the end of the lap, Roxon may be leading this thing, but he was about 8th out of the first turn.
Wow, there's no feeling things out, figuring out where the track is or where the competition is. These guys are going for it. Cole Seeley in the lead. Roxon now up to 2nd. Canard holding Dungey at bay in 3rd. Fantastic action for the very first lap of the season.
Well, if we remember last year,
Roxon
got a little cross-rided off the jump. Fortunately, no harm, no foul, rejoined at the safest, nearest point without gaining an advantage, so that is okay. But he is looking very racy early in this moto, and he gets up the inside of Seeley and makes it look easy. No one yet able to go over that Fly Race. Oh, I say that, and someone, I think that was Bogle in 5th place, just launched it. Woo.
Well, that pass was made easier on Roxon because Seeley almost lost the front end, and Roxon took full advantage. Now Canard going back after his teammate, and he gets to the inside. Is it going to be enough to hold on to 2nd? Seeley's going to work the outside. No. Canard's got it. And what a sigh of relief, by the way, for Trey Canard, who has just been in a horrible start slump for about 1.5 years now, to actually get off the gate and across that stripe first, taking advantage right now, running a strong 2nd.
I would love to see if we could get a replay of that pass that Canard made on Seeley, but just when they came out of the corner, Canard not able to step up the hill, and he wheelied all the way up the hill. They're just trying to get the horsepower to the ground. So opening laps, frantic action early in the moto.
Ken Roxon on fire right now. Soaring Eagle Jimmy John Suzuki starting to pull away just a bit from Canard, and Roxon was only 4th fastest in practice. He's starting to make a habit of that. Oh, Canard, he loses the front end.
You can see on that slick stuff, see he tucked the front end. Just came in a little bit hot, and obviously a little too much lean angle. And that's the thing on these opening laps. You're trying to find out where the grip is. So Canard, a little bit mid-pack, but look who's around him. The 7, the 3. There's a lot of talent there. We didn't quite get a great start with Tomac and Stewart.
Tomac is 12th, so that will put Canard into 13th. Stewart under fire on the 7 from Anderson, who's about to make the move on it. Some good riders back here outside of the top 10, including Tomac, who was the race winner 1 year ago.
Yeah, Tomac definitely with a lot of work to do early in this race, especially with the talent, but Roxon looking solid and starting to pull away. And last year, Jason, he was here, not at 100%, a little bit injured, and Dungey, he made it as well.
Making the move on Seeley. So that'll put Dungey to 2nd, but Roxon already has pulled away a bit, about 2.5 seconds on these two.
He's pulled away a lot in about a lap. Let's see if any of these guys go for the triple. There we go. See, Dungey just clipped it a little bit, but still definitely quicker to go over it than, go double single, as we saw a lot of the 250 riders having to do just because of the horsepower difference.
Seeley fighting back here on the Honda HRC bike 14 to try to get back around Dungey for 2nd. And now Bogle has inherited the next position because of Canard going down. And then I believe it's Marvin Muscan that'll come through next. Yeah, the number 25, the Red Bull KTM. Then it's Justin Barsha, Josh Grant, Blake Baggett, Weston Pike, Phil Nicoletti. That's top 10. Tomac is 11th. Here is Muscan and Bogle, not strangers to each other. They battled a lot in the 250 class in Supercross a couple of years ago. Muscan's first race outdoors on a 450. Georgia, what are you hearing on Marvin?
I was just going to say, you guys, it is his first race on a 450. I know there's a huge difference moving from the 250 class to the 450 class. And you know what's very different about Marvin Muscan, and it's very strange in the 450 class, is that Brian Dungey, Marvin Muscan, and Jason Anderson all train and work together. They all feed off each other. And Anderson told me that they're all kind of going the same speed, but obviously race pace, it could be a little different.
Arbor looking pretty racy right here, though, Georgia, as he tries to get around Bogle, squeeze his way into fourth. You got Barsha and Grant right behind him. This is what we were so excited about. Unbelievable, this 450 class, how many big hitters are out here feeling healthy and ready early in the season.
And what a turn of events from last year. I mean, last year there was no one on the same page as Eli Tomac. No. And right now, Tomac's in 11th place. I mean, what incredible a year can do. Last year, Ken Roxon was circulating what for his pace was in slow motion. Now he went from 8th to 1st, basically a lap, and is starting to check out. So crazy turn of events, but just makes it all that more exciting that we've got 23 more of these coming up.
Musquin gets around Bogle. It is also Bogle's first full season on a 450 outdoors. He joined us for a few races at the end of the year last year, but he was coming back from injury. Wasn't quite 100%. Got Barsha right behind him. Barsha also looking for a nice rebuild after a disappointing Supercross season. Bogle, mistake in the corner or not, still uncorks the 150-foot fly racing jump. Barsha putting that pressure on him as we watch Musquin in fourth. But it's Cole Seeley and Trey Kennard who are looking good off the start, and we're going to show you that with our whole shot replay. Certainly the way Honda wanted to start this one, considering Bogle was in there too. They were 1-2-3 for a moment.
Yeah, quite a bit of red up front in the first turn. But if you can, keep your eye on Roxon. See about 10th in the middle there. And he just dices through, but oh, Kennard got sideways. Yeah. So we'll have to have a look at the second look to see who actually gets it.
I can't even tell.
Look, Kennard has it. Oh, and I think Seeley.
What?
Whoa.
How do we call that?
Seeley by a knobby?
I guess so.
I think Seeley
That's the
by
closest ever. I've never seen it that close. No.
That's like a Daytona 500 NASCAR finish right there.
Yeah,
Talladega.
We need a transponder down there to figure it out. So Roxon, okay, they're going to say it is Seeley. Seeley by a knobby, like you said. That's the whole shot. He's back to third right now. Dungy's second. And Ken Roxon rocketing out of the gate here. Starts about 10th, quickly moves up to second, takes the lead from Seeley and is checking out. Here's Seeley still in third. And behind him will be Musquin and then Bogle.
Trying to keep track on Tomac. He's running a good pace while coming through traffic, but unfortunately still losing time to the leaders. But Tomac now in the top 10, up to 9th place, just behind Josh Grant. But unfortunately for him, there is a sort of a grouping. You see this grouping right in front of him. So several passing opportunities over the next few laps for Tomac if he's able to maintain that pace.
Blake Baggett, number 4, Yoshimura Suzuki trying to make moves on Justin Barsha on the number 51, the Auto Trader Monster Toyota Yamaha, and that is a battle. Barsha has actually got Bogle. That's just saying on timing and scoring. I'm not sure. It should be 5th and 6th.
Yeah, there's Bogle.
Yeah, they both got Bogle. Baggett got Bogle as well.
So Bogle, I'm assuming, must have made a mistake somewhere off camera. Yep.
Yeah, so Barsha is now 5th behind Musquin. Baggett behind him. Bogle pushed back to 7th. And then Tomac makes a move on his teammate of the Monster Kawasaki, Josh Grant. So that's going to move Tomac up. And you can see Tomac trying to make moves on Bogle now around the outside.
Yeah, Tomac finding his groove. Look at his corner speed. Just a long way around on the gas.
Whoa. Well, that was something special right there. So that's going to move Tomac to 7th. And plenty of time in this moto, only about 9 minutes into a 30-minute and 2-lap race. Josh Grant now trying to get Bogle, so it's coming unwound for the number 19 pretty quick.
Focus, breathe. It may sound like very simple instructions, but sometimes you just need to hear the little things as a rider. He doesn't need to be told, go, hurry, get him. Tomac, a very motivated, self-motivated rider. So sometimes for these mechanics, when they've got those kind of riders, it's almost like, hey, calm down, you're good, plenty of time, don't panic, you got this.
Trying to demotivate them a little bit. Don't try to make it all happen too early. Now, next rider Bogle's going to have to deal with is Anderson on the Rockstar Husqvarna 21. And this is not the way Bogle wanted to start it. First lap was good, but running into some trouble now. This could be arm pump or bike setup or whatever the typical issues that you get early in the season. In fact, Kennard, who crashed, is right there behind Bogle now to try to take him out of the top 10. Let's go back to Georgia.
Yes, in the Fram Mechanics area, I just spoke to Justin Bogle's mechanic, Hutchinson, and he said he's just making bad line choices. He didn't necessarily do anything specific, just taking those really bad lines, which as the race progresses, the race line for these guys will come more apparent. People will start to take a similar line. But if you take the wrong line or you take some soft dirt, it can really slow you down a few seconds. I'm sure you know about that, Grant.
Yeah, I do know about that. It's almost one of those things when you say taking bad lines. It's when you're riding tense and you're riding tight, you're not thinking about the important things like that. And so I think for Bogle, maybe just riding a little tight, a little out of rhythm.
He's not scared of that jump, I'll tell you that.
Oh, no. I'm surprised he doesn't have his leg dangling off.
He did a little bit of that earlier in the week on press day, showing the leg swag, but right now he's got to dangle that leg out to block Kennard, who's trying everything to get around him. Same line Kennard used earlier on Seeley. Wheelies up the hill again.
Yeah. Trey likes that corner. Even last year, remember, he made a couple aggressive passes in that corner. And once again this year, making the most of it.
All right, so Kennard trying to move forward, making up for an early crash. That's what's pushed that left sleeve up. Ryan Dungey in second. That's good, but Ken Roxon's getting away. Eli Tomac is on a mission, started outside the top 10, has now moved well in it, just made a move on Justin Barcia, so that should put him in 6th, and quickly to the rear fender of Blake Baggett. Neither rider able to get over that big 150 jump. Tomac down to the inside on Baggett.
Tomac starting to find his groove like we're kind of accustomed to, picking up the pace. Just look at his corner speed. He covers 30, 40 more feet per corner than the average guy, but he's able to make passes. Look at him. He's going where no one else is going. Look, steps up the hill, back to the outside, rail that cushion, as we call it, you know, the loose fluff on the outside. So just also a difference as in when you're being attacked, you're more defensive, and when you're attacking, you open up the track more because you don't have to defend.
Yes, Guy Head always trying to protect those insides to Baggett's doing right now. And James Stewart is out of this race, and Georgia has an update on that. Georgia, what happened?
Yes, I just caught the end of that crash just past the Fran Mechanics area. He went over the berm. I saw the bike flip on top of him. Asterix are with him right now. He is sitting up. They're just checking him out right now, but he will be out of this race, and I doubt he'll be back for the second one.
Oh, man, another tough break in a series of tough breaks for James Stewart, who just cannot get it going in 2016, either in Supercross or here in Motocross. Weston Pike just going a lap down. Pike was about 11th or 12th early in this race, and he must have run into a problem as well as we continue to watch Baggett in 5th and Tomac in 6th fight for it. Roxon leading Dungey up front.
Well, this battle's also kept him in touch with Marvin Musquin. You see he's right in front of Blake Baggett, so a few things here. You got Marvin Musquin, first 450 ride. Obviously, he feels like he's got something to prove, that he's a legitimate title contender. And then you got someone like Blake Baggett, who's had, let's be honest, I would say a mediocre couple of seasons for someone of his caliber. This is also a chance to prove why he's a national champion, why he runs number 4 plate. But right there, Tomac, remember I said he just goes the long way around, but just carries so much more momentum than everyone. Look, outside. That's a little bit like Jeremy Martin we've seen over the years, just carry a lot more speed going the long way around. I'm sure a lot of people are saying, well, why doesn't everyone do that? It's just it's hard to explain, yeah. The inside is the more logical line, but when you're that fast, you can... I'd love to know how many more feet he just covered that last lap over someone like Baggett.
Yeah, we got to get an odometer on that. Kawasaki. Baggett trying to come back on Tomac right now, at least hitch a ride, because you got to figure he's going to go further forward. The next guy they'd have to challenge would be Musquin, who is 4th. Cole Seeley hanging tough in 3rd. Good ride for him. And here is your leader. Remember this guy, Ken Roxon, took off early in the race? And he is 3.5 seconds up on Ryan Dungey. So Dungey is actually closing it in just a little bit.
Full second that last lap.
And you see him in the picture. That's what makes Ryan Dungey so dangerous. You can just never, ever, 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 ever count him out, especially in the Motocross Championship. 12 rounds, 24 long motos. That absolutely falls into Dungey's wheelhouse with the fitness and the consistency.
And he's
starting to go. Yeah.
He's proving that just even right now on raw speed, and we said this is not exactly one of Dungey's favorite places. He hasn't had an amazing track record yet. Oh, a little battle. So we got Barcia and Anderson. This is a battle for 7th. Anderson gets Barcia, so moves on through.
All right, halfway through this moto, 15 minutes before the 2 laps to go sign comes out. You can get on the phone right now, call Geico, and by the time that 2 laps to go sign comes out, you could have saved 15% or more on your insurance. So give him a ring, but keep an eye on the 41 of Trey Kennard. He's trying to get around the 51 of Barcia and leaps over the braking bumps of the downhill and makes the pass it is kind of coming unraveled for Barsha right now, like we saw for Bogle earlier. Bogle all the way back to 12th, and Barsha just gave up 2 passes in a hurry. Here comes Josh Grant on that green 33 as well.
Yeah, Barsha definitely. And Barsha's also had kind of that up and down type season. Look at this. Tomac
on Musquin. That didn't take long to catch him. And Tomac, man, I don't know if he's quite at the level he was a year ago at Hangtown, but he's at a pretty darn high level at the very least. He's making up ground in chunks on these guys.
See, the thing for Tomac is, I think, obviously, he'll get Marvin. Oh, but Marvin just looked down. I wonder, Marvin might have a problem. He just looked down his bike.
He did. And is not putting up a fight, and is now slowing dramatically. Baggett's got to try to get by him. Baggett getting blocked. Looking down, that was a shift lever area.
Yeah, but he almost looked the first time.
And now he's racing again.
You know what might have happened in one of those ruts is if you dig it in, sometimes you get mud that packs under the shifter or even the brake pedal, and you can't get it, you know, to actually shift gears or be able to use the brakes. But maybe he got that out and sometimes you kick that dirt out, but he looks like he's kind of back up to pace and not looking down.
All right, well, that's good. You like to see these guys recover and race it out, but Baggett says, I don't know what's wrong with your motorcycle or not. I don't care. I just got to pass you. Baggett is coming strong. Talked to Baggett this morning. Last year, all he talked about was, as a 450 rookie, just making it through all the races, being consistent. This year, he said he wants to unleash it more, and that's what he's doing right now. Working the outside on Musquin. And he gets him. A little more like the old Blake Baggett we saw in the 250 days when he was making passes like Eli Tomac was, just going wherever you're not.
Well, good ride for Blake Baggett, and definitely something that we've needed to see out of him this year. You know, I'm sure for him, one of the all-time lows, not qualifying for a Supercross main, definitely tough for any athlete at that level. So I'm sure he feels like he's got a little something to prove. And Jason Anderson with that wild man kind of legs and arms all over the place, but he makes it work. Anderson is coming as well. He has got a great pace going.
Man, digging into that bike, doing everything he can to get as much traction in that rear wheel as possible. And as hard as he is riding, Trey Canard's hanging right with him. Musquin is under serious fire right now. This 450 class is spectacular this year.
We said it. There's so many guys that can win. These were 2 guys that we labeled as dark horses, and guess what? You know, at 5th and 6th, they're right there by the podium. Georgia, what do you got?
So we did talk about the fact it is rookie year on a 450, but Grant, what is the main differences? If you're a rider going from the 250 class to the 450 class, obviously power is completely different. But what other stuff are you looking out for that's going to be a main difference?
You know, I think there's a lot of factors into it. As we see this battle, Anderson gets it done. There's a few things, Georgia. I think one of the other things is you go from being the big fish in the medium pond to being a medium fish in the big pond, if that makes any sense at all. When you move up to the 450s, you're just another one of those top guys. You're not that guy.
Yeah, every one of these guys you're watching has won a title on the small bikes. Anderson, Musquin, and Canard. But now they got to fight, and everybody else has.
And Tomac, and Dungey, and you know, even Baggett. And so that's my point. You now got the creme de la creme at the top.
Whoa, Trey Canard. That guy has no fear. We're hitting with a section where he crashed earlier, and he's going to try to use that same spot to pass Musquin.
I think Marvin also pulled all his tear-offs at one point because I just saw him use his sleeve of his jersey to wipe his goggles. So that's going to make it hard for him to attack. I think, if nothing else, you're just going to see him maybe back off a little bit. Fortunately, it's not pouring rain, so it's not going to hurt too bad. But he better be careful because Josh Grant is also coming in. He's riding great. But no, just getting back to the 250, 450 point, someone like Marvin Musquin is in good shape. You know, the 450 is more physical, more power. Talented riders figure out how to use the power, and guys that work hard are strong enough to do the motos. So it comes down to the confidence, and like I said, just figuring out your competition and where you fit in a class like this.
Canard now trying to go with Anderson. These two have been riding very hard in this one. Should be fun to watch it. There is James Stewart taking a ride with the Asterisk Mobile Medic crew, and the left arm is in a sling. So that could be an arm, wrist, or maybe even a shoulder injury. This is just the way things have gone for Stewart over and over this year. Started the Supercross season out hoping to make a big comeback after missing all the races last year, that was knocked out in the very first race of the year. So, man, tough break for the 7. As you watch Canard continue to attack Anderson 6th and 7th. Roxon, by the way, has pulled back away. Dungey made a charge. Roxon has stretched it back out to 5.5 seconds. So Roxon answering the challenge from Dungey up front.
He picked up the pace. That's what he did.
Very impressive for the 94. Battles all over this track. Seely all alone in third, but behind him you got Tomac and Baggett together. And then you just saw Anderson, Kennard, Musquin fighting for it. Ken Roczen in the lead, Ryan Dungey in second here at Hangtown, and a shout out to Cole Seely, a solid third place right now. Here is Roczen, your leader. Didn't start well, made up ground in a hurry, passed about 7 riders in half a lap, then got around Seely to take the lead, and since then he has not been headed. Ryan Dungey put in a brief charge and got it to about 2.5 seconds, but now it's 5.5. Roczen has responded to Dungey making a run.
And that was impressive, I think, from many reasons. One, Dungey doesn't get defeated mentally, in my opinion, basically ever. He's very strong. But for Roczen, the minute Dungey started closing, what I was impressed with Ken Roczen was it's almost like he put his head down and thought, no way is this going to happen. I'm not going to allow it. And he picked it up. He's dropped into 201s. And Dungey has really fought to now also try. And Dungey now back in the 201s. But I think, barring mistake, it might be a little too late. Yes,
camera on Cole Seely's mechanic. He's trying to keep him pushing for third because look who's coming. You got that shark in the water. Yeah. Eli Tomac fourth, trying to close on Seely.
And you do not want Eli Tomac behind you when time's running out, because look at the gap. You know, Roczen and Dungey, there's a 4-second gap between them, but behind that, Seely is 24 seconds behind Ryan Dungey, who's in second, but Tomac only a couple seconds behind Cole Seely. So I think there could be a change to third, but I think the front two, they're pretty much in a league of their own right now.
Well, coming into this season, as deep as this field is, a lot we're theorizing that really the big three are kind of Roczen, Dungey, and Tomac. But we'll see if they can end up top 3 in this very first moto by the time it's done. Georgia, what do you got on Ken Roczen?
I spoke to Ken Roczen this morning, and I said, what was the main changes? Because towards the end of the Supercross series, he said he changed some stuff on his bike, which, you know, he thought, oh, wish I'd done that at the beginning of the season. I asked him what the changes were, and honestly, there was only one small one. He said, I went from the factory Suzuki triple clamps to just running the stock ones, and then afterwards, Brock Tickle followed him and runs the stock triple clamps also. He said it's made a huge difference, but I think his confidence outdoors is what he's done for so many years and won so many championships in. I think he feels like he's back home, he's got his bike dialed in, and he's just ready to prove himself again.
Triple clamps are what connect those front forks to the frame of the bike. So yeah, going to the stock stuff, which is the same thing that comes on any Suzuki out of the factory on the showroom floor to work for him.
I can relate to that. When I rode for factory Yamaha, I ended up going to stock clamps as well. And the reason that guys do that is the stock clamps have more flex. So someone like Roczen likes the front end feel. Look at Dungey, not that far back. But now you'll see a pretty good sized gap back to Cole Seely. And once we see Seely, you'll probably see the green machine charging right behind him come into the screen.
That's
another
a lap rider there.
Another lapper.
Yeah. That's
another
a huge gap.
Yeah, it's grown to 30 seconds now. So we should be seeing Cole Seely come in the picture. There he is. Now watch. You'll see a green machine, and there it is. Tomac has got the eye of the tiger. He's coming, but look, Baggett is coming with him.
Wow.
So great ride for Baggett. Exactly what we wanted and needed to see from him. Showing us why he's a former winner.
That line did not work for Tomac down to the inside. Baggett has closed right up with him, and Tomac passed him, what, 15, 20 minutes ago? Baggett has hung with him for a long time. Great ride for Blake. It's hard to match Eli Tomac, especially on a track like this where he's done so well, but Baggett has done so.
Yeah, no, it's great to see. And also, I don't think Tomac is quite showing us that absolute raw speed like he had last year. And the track was different. I mean, we've got to get it to there's a lot of differences in the year itself. So when you take it all in context, it doesn't actually seem that crazy that he's running in fourth place. But that's why I think with the front three, the starts are going to be very important again, because I think if someone like Tomac gets a whole shot and Roczen doesn't, it's going to be a role reversal. He's going to be fighting to try and be on the podium, you know, that sort of scenario. So 24 motos, and each guy's going to have their weekend. You know, we know Dungey, this is not his favorite place, but he's showing like, hey, I can still compete for a win. Well, he can do that anywhere he goes.
Yeah, that is
true. Yeah.
Dungey, you don't have to worry about it. The rest of these guys, they're showing some signs right now. Roczen up front, Seely a great ride around Dungey in third. And Baggett and Tomac putting on a show as they chase each other through traffic and try to get Seely, but time's running out. 3.5 minutes to go. There's Seely at the top of the hill.
And he made a mistake.
Yeah.
So now Tomac is basically pretty much pulled up to the rear fender. So I got a feeling Tomac's going to get Seely unless Seely can really dig deep and pull out a little bit of raw speed in these last few laps.
Kennard behind them. He is 6th ahead of Anderson. He's made the pass. There he goes on the 41 with the purple numbers. So he'd be the next. Then it's Anderson, Grant 8th, Musquin back to 9th, and Barsha 10th. See Baggett across the finish line. Kennard's not that far behind him as well.
Kennard really made a good recovery after he tucked the front end. We're actually coming up to the corner where he went down, but he really has come back well. You see the sleeve all the way up? That's basically from his crash, and it was in the corner you're about to see right there when it was slick early on. But look at this, Tomac. Like I said, even though time's running out, there's plenty of time for Tomac. He's there.
Oh, tried to find an inside line where there was no traction at all and still almost made the pass. Still a great ride by Seely to stay up here as long as he did. When you got Eli Tomac behind you, it is going to be a tall order to hold him off.
Don't leave the door with Tomac there. Seely now knows, if he didn't know already, which I'm sure he did, he can hear him, he can smell him. Oh, look at that. Through the deepest part of the rut, Tomac just, that's what these outdoor, wow. That's one of those, you see it hook the frame, the dirt come off. We all know what that can lead to, which means ugly crash going over the bars. Fortunately, Tomac pulls that off, but he is such a mad dog type rider. Look at him, he's just going for it. The rougher it gets, the more Tomac gets aggressive.
Now Seely is going to have to deal with Baggett, so Tomac is pushing from 3rd to 4th, and Baggett is right there as well. All of them airing out this Fly Racing 150 jump.
Most of them getting about 145 feet because they're still bouncing to the bottom. It's a bit of a tough landing, but you know what? You have to do it, Jason. For the couple tenths you gain at this level, you have to just do it. Even if you know you're going to case it. Look at this. Baggett at the inside. Oh, their lines came together, and Seely shuts the door on him.
Seely missed some critical riding time midway through Supercross. Actually had a small crack in a couple of vertebrae, and got to wonder where his fitness is exactly right now. Now, a few weeks ago at the New Jersey Supercross, he dug deep and actually held Dungey off down the stretch, but that was in a Supercross race. These are almost twice as long. 1 minute left before the clock, so we don't get the 2 laps to go sign. Instead, it will be 3 to go, and that's not good news if you're Seely because Baggett is all over you.
Yeah, so just 3 laps to go, but plenty of time for someone like Baggett. For Seely, these last 3 laps are going to seem like an eternity. Oh, a little mistake there. Look at Baggett. Just carried the corner speed. That's all it took. Seely trying to do the right thing, be protective, cover that inside line. But it's so tough at times when you're trying to focus on what you're doing, but you can hear someone out of your left or right ear, depending on which side he's coming. It really does throw you off, and it makes it hard to concentrate on what you're doing. But still, all in all, good ride for Cole Seely. Not known as, you know, a outdoor kind of dominator type rider. Very more technical and more of a Supercross guy. Oh, just a lapper.
I thought that was Tomac for a second when I saw the green gear. Yeah, that's a lap rider. So Seely gets around him. Meanwhile, Roxon's lead is 6.1 over Dungey, and he'll be getting the 2 laps to go sign in a moment. So yeah, Seely, you're right, has never been quite as successful outdoors as he has in Supercross. Look at this! Baggett right on the rear fender of Tomac again.
Who would have thought this?
We have someone putting their hat in the ring. Everyone knew that Roxon, Dungey, and Tomac would be strong this year in the 450s outdoors. Who could challenge them? Answer number 1, Blake Baggett.
Well, he's won here before in the 250 class. He's a former champion in the 250 class, and we've seen El Chupacabra when he's on it. Oh, when was the last time you saw someone just straight up pass Eli Tomac outdoors? But Blake Baggett does it. I can't tell you how I'm impressed with Baggett's ride right now. He needed this one, Jason.
Spent about 20 minutes behind Tomac, waited, and then pulled the trigger. And he told me this morning that was the plan, be the steady Eddie like he was last year a lot. And then at the right time, he said, I'm going to unleash it, and that's exactly what he did. Yeah, the last time someone has passed Eli Tomac at a motocross track, I honestly can't remember.
It was probably the last time there was an El Chupacabra sighting.
It could have been in the 250 days. This is the kind of stuff Baggett was able to do, and I'll be honest, Tomac not able to respond here. Baggett is stretching it out.
Well, Baggett also, once he got around Tomac, he really seemed like he put the hammer down. And where Tomac, I think, has gone wrong is he went from flowing all the outsides to, look, just pinching a little tighter everywhere. He started riding more defensive when Baggett was coming with him, which is weird because what we were saying is what makes Tomac sometimes he can rail that outside.
Yeah.
And then he started pinching the corners. And what did Baggett do? He went the long way around. So
out of his own playbook,
yeah.
what Baggett used. So Baggett salvaging it for the Yoshimura Suzuki team, who has lost James Stewart maybe for the day after a big crash. But Baggett making that bike look good and potentially putting it in the top 3. And on the podium here, that'd be 2 Suzukis on the podium with Roczen up front. And Dungey sandwiched between them on that Red Bull KTM. So Blake Baggett in year 2 on the 450 said he was going to show us a little more, and he has, at least early.
I'd be interested to know the last time when there were 2 Suzukis on the podium in the Premier class. So good job for those guys in yellow. They've had some, obviously, some rough years.
Here's Roczen. This should be, yes, white flag. So Ken Roczen looking to make a statement here. 7 seconds up on Ryan Dungey. Great ride for the German.
Yeah, it's been a great ride. As we pan out here, you can actually see the gap. There goes Roczen out of screen, and then here comes Dungey. So not insurmountable, but on a last lap, it's basically done deal. He can back it off, but now we see the bigger gap going back to 3rd.
Yeah, they had pulled away big time from there as Dungey just went by. And they've got 37 seconds on Baggett in the 3rd place spot. So here's Ken Roczen. Boy, anything that could have gone wrong did go wrong for him in a championship defense. Last year came into this race with a bad back.
Didn't he end up 16th or 17th?
I think 19th
moto?
in the first moto.
Yeah.
Barely even got points. Went 19-5 in the results. And then once the back healed up, then he realized they were all out of sorts as far as the settings on the bike. It took him a long time to get it going. Finally won a few races in at High Point, but was never really able to match Dungey stride for stride, moto to moto. Got a few wins here and there, won the last moto of the year in Indiana. But we never really saw the 2014 championship version of Ken Roczen last year. This is a lot more like the Ken Roczen that won that title.
Yeah, he looks good doing it as well. And what's nice is he looks very comfortable on the bike as well. I think he grew up on Suzuki's. He's always said it's kind of his, home base, and he feels comfortable. But it seemed like maybe once he left KTM, like it took a little while, like you said, to make those adjustments and figure out what he wanted or what he needed. But now he looks like, okay, this is the bike that I know. This is the bike I can win on, and this is the bike I'm going to win on. So welcome back, Ken Roczen. You got your back fixed. You've got a clean slate. No points been handed out yet. Moto 1. Good job.
All right, Ken Roczen takes a look over. Doesn't see any more challengers past the Fram Mechanics area. Moto number 1 of 2016. Statement made by Ken Roczen. Takes the win.
Number 1 in the 450 class here at Hangtown.
And high fives from Kyle Bentley, team manager over there, old Roadblock. Also Kenny Watson of the team. Well, they're happy to get their guy into victory lane, but that team's smart. They know that 1 moto win out of 24 is just a tiny, tiny scratch of the surface. Dungey, if you come across yet, or did he slow down that much on this final lap? I believe he did. Yeah, he did. 6.1 seconds, the final gap. And here comes Baggett. So this is a good one. Who is going to be the wild card to try to upset that Roczen, Dungey, Tomac group? It's Blake Baggett out-dueling Tomac to take 3rd on the Yoshimura Suzuki. Roczen headed to the podium to celebrate first moto win of the year.
The Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship is brought to you by Lucas Oil, made in America, sold to the world. Geico Motorcycle, see how much you could save on motorcycle insurance. And by Fram, garage wisdom lives here.
Back at Hangtown, and how about it? A track that had rain earlier is now being watered as we prepare for our second motos. But let's talk Moto 1. Georgia has our winner.
Yes, Ken Roczen on the Soaring Eagle Jimmy John Suzuki. Huge congratulations. Way better than last year, like you just said. You took that win. You got Ryan Dungey. Tell me about that race.
Yeah, it's nice out here right now. You know, we have some clouds coming in and stuff, but overall, it's perfect temperatures, and track's super fun. It's a little more flat than it was the previous years, but I think they do that because of the rain. But overall, the Soaring Eagle Jimmy John's Factory Suzuki bike was working great out there, and hopefully can do it again in the second moto.
Well, best of luck. Thanks, Kenny.
12th career moto win on a 450 for Ken Roczen here in the U.S. Here's your Lucas Oil race recap. Two Hondas fighting for the whole shot. Cole Seeley, they're going to give it to by that much. That's 1 inch or 1 knob on the tire. So Cole Seeley gets the whole shot. Trey Canard, his teammate, was right with him. Then Canard went down. Here's Ken Roczen plowing his way forward from about 10th to take the lead from Seeley.
Yeah, Roczen came out in a hurry on the opening lap, got out front, and he looked good out there. And unfortunately, James Stewart, another setback. Arm in a sling, that left shoulder looks like he's in some pain. I don't think we'll see Stewart back today, but what about Roczen?
He's back. He takes the moto win. 19th in the first moto at Hangtown last year while riding with injury. First here in 2016. Here are your results. Great ride by Blake Baggett to get around Eli Tomac and take third. Seeley, an excellent ride for fifth. Crazy battle. Anderson, Grant, Canard, Muscan, Marcia, top 10. Nicoletti was 11th. Bogle, after a good start, back to 12th. Tommy Hahn rounds that top 10. Cody Cooper back. The New Zealander finishes 19th. Back to Georgia.
Yes, Ryan Dungey with that second place. Congratulations on your KTM Red Bull. Now, tell me about that race. Obviously, Hangtown is a place for you where you just can't get that win. Yeah. But what are we going to change up for the second moto?
Yeah, no, definitely that wouldn't be good if we could. You know, a good start, second moto. That moto was good. You know, we were pushing the pace. Kenny got ahead a little bit. Had to play catch-up. Wasn't able to quite get on him. But overall, everything felt nice. So, yeah, good start. And be right there, up there off the front and, you know, try to put some laps in. You know, hopefully the weather cooperates, but you know, either way, whatever it is, we'll be ready. So we'll try to get this first win. If not, it ain't the end of the world, but it'd be nice here.
Well, congratulations. Second place to Ryan Dungey. And as we are saying, the wind is coming in, and I think we could be getting rain pretty soon.
Geez, hard to keep up. It changes every 5 minutes out here. Hey, this week, the Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing Series has new beginnings for 2016. First, looking to dethrone the Pro 4 King, Kyle LeDuc, and will new stars emerge in the competitive Pro Buggy class? It happens now. Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing tomorrow, 2 Eastern and Pacific, right here on MAV TV. Send it back to Georgia on the podium.
Blake Baggett is back, guys. Congratulations, third place. You were pushing at the end of that moto. Did something just click towards the end? I mean, you were firing all over Eli Tomac.
Yeah, I was doing whatever I could, so I like this place. Hangtown's always been good to me, and I was just trying to push it towards the front. In the last 3 laps, I found some new lines and was making it happen, so I got to give it up to the whole Yoshimura Factory Suzuki Racing team, my whole crew, everybody under there, my mom, my dad, my girlfriend, just everybody that's been working hard. My sponsors from O'Neill Gear, Just One Helmet, SoCal Super Truck, CD Boots, Scott Goggles, just everything's working good, Liat Brace, and now I just need to get a better start this next time and give Ryan and Kenny a run for their money.
Well, great to see you up here. Thanks, Blake, and well done.
Ooh, is that Blake or is that El Chupacabra on the podium? Maybe we'll find out in Moto 2. Coming up next week, we'll go to Glen Helen in Southern California, and then we'll go to Colorado and Thunder Valley. There is your 2016 Lucas Oil Pro Motocross race schedule. We'll crown champions at the Ironman National just outside of Indianapolis at the end of August. So it's going to be a grind, but right now, there are 2 riders that don't feel like it's that difficult at all. Joey Savaggi and Ken Roczen are feeling good about the way things are going.
There are 2 guys that are stoked to get the season started off that way. A couple surprises between 2 classes. Nice ride from Baggett, but also some not surprises. The guys we expected to be up front, right there. Let's see. Webb looks good, even with that wrist injury.
Yep.
Martin, of course, you know he's going to be solid. Savacci, great to see him. And then the 450. If Tomac gets a start, he's shown what he can do. But how about Baggett? That was, to me, got to be my guy that impressed me from Moto 1.
So all the riders we expected to be up front were, but they've got a whole bunch of wild cards throwing their names out there as potential guys who could upset them for wins or maybe even championships this year. All right, so we have completed it at Hangtown. We had some dust, we had some rain, we had some mud. We had 2 very happy winners with Joey Savacci and Ken Roczen. Want to thank you for joining us. Don't forget 7 Eastern tonight. We'll have second motos on NBCSN, so tune in on this evening. For Grant Langston and Georgia Lindsay, I'm Jason Wygant. Thanks for watching. Well done, Ken Roczen. Well done, Joey Savacci. We'll see if you guys can repeat it and get the overalls at Hangtown in Moto 2.